Today's throwback, we are having a look at the Toybiz Marvel Legends Faceoff, the Incredible Hulk. Spot gets questions from you guys from time to time as to specific series. What is my favorite figure? Or, more importantly, sometimes people just say, Spot, what are your favorite figures of all time? And you've probably seen some of them here and there over the course of these reviews, but still one of my favorite all-time figures and my favorite Marvel Legend figure of all time is this guy right here. This is the Marvel Legends Faceoff Hulk. If you're unfamiliar with the Faceoff line, essentially what it was a two-pack pairing a hero against a villain. And it was usually like always their definitive villain. So like Hulk here, for example, had Leader as the alternate. Punisher had Jigsaw, and then I'm trying to think, Iron Man had Mandarin, War Machine had another Mandarin, but there were two different variations usually for each of the box sets. Captain America came one with Red Skull, and I think the other one was Baron von Strucker, I think, and Hulk came with two different variations with Leader. Of the two versions, Hulk was pretty much the exact same figure. The only difference was the expression on his face. I sadly don't have that other Hulk anymore. To be honest, I don't even know what I did with it. But I still have this original Hulk, and still to this day is my favorite Hulk of all time. It's a little, well, I think looking at it, maybe you look at it with rose-colored glasses, that perhaps it's not as cool as maybe one would remember it being. It does have a few flaws, and we can touch base on that together, but consistently, the Toybiz delivered solid outings for the Marvel Legends figures. Some a little bit better than others, but for the most part, they really did excellent jobs on their figure treatments. Okay, so let's touch base on, well, you know what, let's start with his face. For me, growing up, the Incredible Hulk had a certain look to him. I think mostly this particular figure kind of harks back to the old Marvel comics, and I wasn't a big Hulk fan, to be honest, in the comics, but when I think of the Hulk and I think of his team-up issues, this is the way I think of the Hulk the most. Kind of that really short, square-like face, very wide jaw, I might add, and this sort of hairstyle. And this is a much more savage Hulk, probably more the bruiser and less the thinker that maybe Hulk ended up being. He's a very short, stocky figure, but a very big figure as well. Like, there's a lot of mass to the figure itself. Okay, so let's touch base on some of the flaws with the figure, because the figure isn't perfect. By no stretch of the imagination is the figure perfect. Probably the most glaring issue with this is paint when you look at the torso and you look at the arms, comparing it to the head, the hands, and the feet. The hands, the feet, and the head all have a very, very flat painted texture. In fact, it really relies only on the plastic color to give it the green. And then when you start getting into areas of the chest is much shinier, and they put like a darker green and almost a dark brown that they put in there as a wash too. It looks a little jarring to the face because the face again is a very pristine, clean green plastic. And also the same thing for the hands too. And it's funny when you get to like the fingers on Hulk's hands don't match quite to the hand palm area that have the thumb. You can see it's a very different green. This area right here is a very different green than this and this, which these almost have the exact same green. This one looks a little bit different. And then they put a lot of this brown on the bicep area. And then on this side, don't even get me started on this side. This side they put a lot of this dark brown, which also ends up carrying over accidentally, I'm sure, to the one big toe of the Hulk, which has this brown splotched on it. I'm sure not intentional, or not intentional, I should say. Maybe it's accidental. There's the undersides of his feet. And one of the other reasons why I like this Hulk too, the old tried and true, just ripped purple pants. That's all you really need Hulk to be, is just a big behemoth with ripped purple pants. Not something I really cared for when it came to the Avengers Age of Ultron Hulk. He was wearing like these weird spandex pants. Not overly crazy about that, just give me ripped purple pants on Hulk any day of the week. For the size of him, he is pretty posable as well. A little restricted in some areas, a little more ridiculous in other areas, but for the most part, a pretty posable Hulk. His head, for example, is on a swivel, which also is a ball joint. But yeah, you can really see the side, how that head does not really gel with the rest of his body. I wish that this body was a little more to this color, or they could have just carried a little bit of that to the face without it messing up the face. His torso is on a swivel. It has no crunch because they didn't want to really break up the sculpt of his chest area, and I can understand that. I think it kind of looks cleaner than having one big cut here where the torso would move up and down. The arms rotate out, a little on the stiffer side, yes, but they do rotate out. And the arms rotate theoretically all the way around, although you will fight a little bit with the top of his torso because he's got so much bulk on his shoulders. The forearm bicep area do swivel. He has a hinge in the elbow, which is a little on the restricted side. He's got a swivel at the wrist, which rotates all the way around. And he's got a hinge in the hand, but then he's also got a hinge in the four fingers. It's one problem that I wasn't crazy when it came to Toybiz figures were, when they put the hinge, they sculpted the hand either really flat or they sculpted it really closed. This Hulk, his one hand has like the fingers individually kind of sculpted as if he's grabbing onto something, and it kind of just ruins the experience when you start hinging the hand because then it gives him this weird gesture. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So a lot of times I'll just keep the hands open. The other hand, on the other hand, is flat, which again works fine, but then when you hinge the hand, it just really makes it look awkward. So not crazy about that. Then when you get to the legs do rotate, and they do also have a hinge joint where you can move the legs forward and back. He has a very limited bend in his knee, and then he's also got a swivel hinge in the lower foot, a hinge at the kind of in the ankle area, and then individually hinged on the 5 toes, with the big toe and the 4 other toes. So you can get him in pretty decent poses, depending on how you want to have him poised on your shelf. Yes, he does have a few hiccups here and there, but for the most part, this is still my favorite Hulk and my favorite Marvel Legend of all time. I kick myself that I really, again, don't know what I did with the other Hulk. The Hulk was basically this, but with a screaming expression. Pretty much for the two, though, this is my favorite expression of those two figures. I like the Screaming Hulk, but I think this Hulk kind of fits the bill a little bit better too. And also, when Lou Ferrigno was doing a lot of the Hulk, well, when that series was running rampant and it was a big success on TV, a lot of the Hulk merchandise seemed to have Hulk like this kind of design. So maybe that's why I kind of gravitate towards more this Hulk design than any other. Today's throwback, we were having a look at the Toybiz Marvel Legends Faceoff Hulk. Still my favorite figure of the Marvel Legends line. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more throwbacks heading your way. Thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.